Hey guys, it is Nick here, and today we will be seeing if Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene coming to Woodbury and asking the group to go with them to Washington will turn good, or with this bigger group, it will mean more casualties later down the line. This is part 6 to this awesome remake of What If Rick Spared Shane. Now the group in this story, going to Washington along with Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene, I will relay once more in this video. The group consists of Rick, Daryl, Merle, Michonne, Glenn, Carl, T-Dog, Andrea, Maggie, Beth, Herschel, Lori, Big Tiny, Axel, Sasha, Tyrese, Carol, and Oscar. Now, unlike before where I forgot to put Shane on this particular list, here he is now. So, you guys know that Shane is still part of the group because he is, after all, the centerpiece of this story, and yeah, so far, him being alive and spared by Rick has meant a lot more than his previous counterpart in my first version of the story. Now, like I said before, the likes of Lizzie, Mika, Bob, Karen, and David all become relevant later down the line of the group being in Woodbury. It just takes a little bit of time for them to become relevant. And soon enough, the group goes on their way to Washington. But on the way, Daryl feels that something's off. Like someone or some people are watching them and hot on their trail. And his suspicions truly come to focus whenever a few arrows begin to fly seemingly out of nowhere from the trees, and 2 of which kill the likes of Karen and David. Now everyone knows that they're not only being followed, but they're being tracked, ready for other people to kill. And one of those particular faces makes himself known in the form of Len. It's the Claimers who are after them, because this would be around the time of the story where we would see the Claimers face to face. And more arrows shoot out, especially from Len, the next of which being the victim, Lizzie. Now, this actually seems like an actually good death for Lizzie to me, besides What If Carol let Lizzie go? Because it's not just the group getting rid of Lizzie like Carol did in the original, it's actually her going out in a fight sort of way, if you know what I mean. Soon enough, the entire group of the Claimers jump out of the bushes and trees and make themselves actually known and continue to fire arrows at anyone that they possibly can, showing that even though they're outnumbered, they still mean business. Now, Daryl, knowing that he is a great silent killer and knowing that his tracking and unique skills can help in this fight, tells the entire group to fall back and that he'll take them on alone. Now, you might think on one hand that this is completely foolish of Daryl to take them all on himself, but he was kind of getting ready to whenever he met them in the original, so why not? And he kills the likes of Lou, Tony, and with a few more shots, gets the likes of Dan. But that's all he's going to get, because after getting those lucky kills, Len takes his opening and fires arrows himself. It's an arrow fight back and forth between Daryl and Len, because that's honestly something we want to see. Daryl and Len fight it out for real. But unfortunately for Daryl, having pretty much exerted himself trying to kill the first 3, gets shot in the leg and is forced to take cover. And this is a arrow through the leg. And not to say that Daryl hasn't had arrows impaled in him before, but still hurts. And he's critically injured right now. Beth, seeing that Daryl has been hit and is now taking cover, possibly going to die, tries to go and run to save him, because remember, they're together in this timeline as before in other timelines that I've had stories with them together. But Merle, seeing as everyone's fallen back and Daryl cares for Beth a lot, feels like if she goes out there, she's just going to be prime meat for the Claimers, and who knows what they're going to do to her. So he says for her to stay back, because the last thing that he knows that Daryl wants is Beth dead. So he says he'll take care of it and help Daryl. And that he does. Merle takes his opening shots literally and kills the likes of Lou and the rest of the Claimers. Well, Len and the rest of the Claimers. I get Lou and Len mixed up, so that's kind of my bad. But anyways, Merle kills the rest of the Claimers, so the threat is over, right? No, sadly not. Merle made one fatal mistake. He left Beth out in the open, and he turns around to see the poor, sorry aftermath of this stupid decision. And who is the perpetrator? Joe, the one Claimer that they didn't kill, the leader of the Claimers at that, and it resulted in Beth's untimely demise. Because this throat slit, of course, kills Beth much earlier, in fact, than any Beth in any of my stories, and earlier than the original Walking Dead timeline. Now, Daryl, having killed his few Claimers that he was fighting, turns around to see that Beth has died, and the last Claimer, Joe, there, standing triumphantly over the body. And, of course, the likes of Merle and Daryl are not happy about this whatsoever. And Merle, feeling fully responsible for this, as he should, because it was kind of and literally his fault, delivers a full angry kick straight to Joe's jaw, throwing him up in the air. And Daryl, wanting to take out his frustrations, seeing Joe's body come towards him, grabs his knife, and right when the body of Joe comes near him, he slams it into the ground and knifes him in the head. And this would honestly be an awesome scene to witness. Kind of outlandish, but when we're dealing with The Walking Dead, anything could happen. Merle, after this, is feeling at a loss for words, because he ultimately caused Beth's death, and he doesn't know what to say. He feels that he's just... He doesn't know how to talk to Daryl now and what Daryl will do to him. But Daryl doesn't say that it's okay or that he forgives him, but he also doesn't say that it's his fault. He just says it's not his fault and he just needs some time, but he doesn't blame him. He tried his best to get Beth out of the way. It was just the timing of it all. Rick and Shane, seeing all of this go down, see that Merle's character has definitely changed from what they remember about him at the Atlanta camp, and that Daryl just needs time to get everything together and have to deal with the fact that they just lost 4 of their own. But they advance on. Side note, something that I forgot to mention. Morgan is still relevant here, but it is the likes of Rick, Carl, and Lori that all go, rather than the likes of Rick, Carl, and Michonne, because there wasn't really a need to bring Michonne here. Now, with the likes of Morgan, the meeting goes as you would expect, but Morgan being in his clear state of mind, like I mentioned in What If Lori Survived, I feel that even with Lori being alive and Shane being alive and everything else with that, I just don't see Morgan going. because of his state of mind. Eventually, the signs of terminus, because that's still relevant here, become even more relevant, and soon enough, the whole group lands upon the likes of Terminus and Gareth and all of the cannibals, who they do not know yet to be that way. But with Shane being a very perceptive person, as we know, as well as the majority of the group, and Daryl still having to lift a lot of weight off his chest, suffice to say, with this huge group, Gareth and the cannibals don't last that long. As a matter of fact, the whole Terminus place is lit aflame and destroyed within a matter of minutes. There's no train car sequence, none of that nonsense. So that's that whole sequence out of the way. Abraham still makes it known that Washington is a priority and says that this was a small diversion at best, not a big deal, but they still have a mission and advance onwards. But they do still save Father Gabriel, because I still feel that they would do that. Because remember, Rick and most of the group are softer here because of a lot of people not dying. Shane being a particular one, and Lori and such. And the whole group eventually advances upon Father Gabriel's church. Now, how will Father Gabriel's secret go with the group this time, with Shane being there? And how will the rest of the story unfold afterwards? Well, you'll have to wait till next time, because that's where we're going to be leaving things for the moment. Now, I truly hope that you guys are enjoying the story so far, because believe me, with Father Gabriel especially, the story is going to take a much different turn than you would originally expect, and it's going to surprise the majority of you. I will tell you that right now. But anyways, regardless of that factor, I hope you guys are enjoying the story so far. Hope you guys are looking forward to future parts, and I will see you guys next time.